Okay, I have cast on 45, so I need my extra stitch to do the next step, which is called an invisible join in the round. So to enable us to knit circular, we join our stitches. So the first thing we do is make sure that the bottom of all of those stitches is facing inwards. Otherwise we get a twist like that and we have to undo and start again. So just make sure that that edge along the bottom is facing inside your circle all the way around. You've got your tail yarn, which we'll trim later, on the right hand needle there in the front, and your working yarn on the right hand also, but at the back. And then we are going to do an invisible join in the round. So I'm just pushing the stitches up to the tips of the needles because I am going to slip that first one there over to my right hand needle. It's a little bit tight, but that's fine. And then pick up the second, or the stitch behind it now on the right hand needle, and pass it over the top and drop it down, and then place it back on the left hand needle. And that means that that's an invisible join in the round. That means we won't have a gap in our work. Just push the stitches back again when we come back round to finish our first round. This here is a stitch marker. I'm going to place that on, just slip that on your right hand needle, and that marks the spot where we started, so we know when we come back that we've completed a round. So our first round is 2x2 rib. So to do 2x2 rib, we do our first 2 stitches in knit stitches. So the right hand needle goes into the front of the first stitch, and it is a little bit tight at first, but it does get a lot better. So our right hand working yarn wraps around that right hand needle, and then we pull it through and up and slide it off. That's a knit stitch. And we do a second knit stitch, so into the that left hand stitch. The working yarn wraps around our right hand needle over the top, pull it through, up, slide it off. Because we're doing rib, our next 2 stitches for 2x2 rib are purl stitches. So we move our working yarn from the back of our work around to the front of our work. So we just wrap it around that right hand needle, bring it to the front, and then our right hand needle goes into the front of the next stitch and up in the front of the left needle. Our working yarn is at the front, so we wrap that round the right hand needle, and then we slide that down and under the left hand needle and off. Our next stitch is also a purl, so we've already got the working yarn in the front, we don't need to move it. Our right hand needle goes into the front of that stitch and up over above the left hand needle, wrap the working yarn across and around the right hand needle to form a loop, and then we slide it back, goes under the left hand needle and off. Okay, now we're doing 2 knit stitches. Move our working yarn from the front of our work around to the back of our work, and then the right hand needle goes into the left stitch and under, this time for our knit stitch. Wrap the working yarn around to form a loop, pull it back through, slide it off, and just wriggle your stitches up to where it's comfortable each time. So we do another knit stitch, our working yarn's at the back already, right hand needle goes into the front, wrap that around and up through, slide off. Next 2 stitches are purl stitches again. Bring our working yarn from the back of our work around to the front. The right hand needle goes up through the front of the next stitch and on top of the left needle. Wrap our working yarn around that top needle and form a loop. Slide it back and off. 1 more purl stitch. Okay, and then we're going to switch again for 2 knit stitches. Working yarn goes round to the back, and we go into the front and under the left needle, wrap it round, knit the next one. Okay, 2 purl stitches, move our working yarn round to the back, front of our work, go up through the front of the stitch, above the left hand needle, loop our yarn off, and you do get quite quick at this. I'm just going to move my stitches again up to the further up the needle. This is the hardest round in terms of it just feels awkward and a little bit tight, but once you've done that first one you'll find it much easier. So I'm just going to carry on right back to that marker again with my 2x2 rip.